All right. Dirty Sports episode 817 live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Good morning, Andrew T. Ruther.
Good morning. Good afternoon here. Good morning there. We're doing it. 8:17.
Oh, that's the episode. I was like, is this like a Jimmy Buffett thing? It's 8:17 somewhere.
No, although I might see him.
Yeah.
You know, Cincinnati's always a stop. That's like one of his favorite places,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
Because it's in one of his songs.
Yeah. So I think he has a streak going. I forget how many years in a row he's come here. He's coming here this summer just to experience. I know you've gone the whole scene.
Yeah. You should go.
Like people get bombed.
Absolutely blitzed. Mikey, Mikey and I mean, that's we've been a few times together. The last time was when he had a what was it? It was a small piñata donkey named Brian, and he had filled Brian with beers, and he was walking around the parking lot asking people to fist Brian. He had punched a hole in the ass area of the piñata, and then he was literally just walking around, be like, "Will you fist Brian?" And people were like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Come on, fist Brian," and they would stick their fist in the piñata's asshole, and they would come out with a beer.
That's absolutely amazing.
But I mean, people build tiki bars in the parking lot and shit. Like,
oh yeah, and that venue is right by where I live, Riverbend, right on the river. So it's like 2 miles away. I just looked, July 21st.
Watch out. Now that you mentioned it, I mean, Mikey might end up being there
with another piñata.
Yeah.
That's a pretty legit idea, though. I like that idea. I would rival that with the piñata that Lachlan Patterson did for his birthday.
Oh, yeah. With all weed in it.
100 pre-rolled joints. I mean, that was another brilliant idea. Like, I like the idea of adult things in a piñata because piñatas are always fun.
Yeah.
But I might check it out. I should go just to see the spectacle.
I mean, do you know any of his tunes besides like the big ones? Do you need me to make you like an essential Jimmy Buffett, like prep yourself for July playlist?
Yeah, I mostly just know the big ones.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I got you, Doc.
I should make this happen. Hopefully it doesn't result in what happened after Dead and Company, where I was, wandering around with my brothers trying to get an Uber. You know what's crazy about Uber and Lyft? I remember when I first heard about it, and that was the summer of 2013. It's crazy to think that was 9 years ago. And I was telling somebody this the other day. When I first heard about it, I didn't understand it. And I was blown away.
Are you watching Super Pumped?
No, what's that?
It is the show about the start of Uber.
Ooh, I'd like to watch that.
Yeah. It's on Showtime. It's by the same guys who do Billions, which I referenced to you yesterday. And you said you didn't watch. But it's the same duo of like writer producer guys who did Billions, and we had a very Billions moment officially today, but announced yesterday, where there's been rumors. Apparently, the Mets were the least vaccinated of any team, which I don't even like. Just blinking guy meme. And there was all this talk that, we have this essentially the Kyrie Irving rule where unvaccinated players could not participate in games in New York City. So for football, not an issue because it was all in Jersey, in the New York area. But obviously, we have a Kyrie Irving sitting out home games at Barclays. Apparently, Judge and other Yankees not vaccinated, and then many New York Mets not vaccinated, which I don't, I'm going to save myself the heartache and the headache of trying to figure out which players on my team are not vaccinated. But essentially, it looked like these guys were not going to be able to play. And suddenly, Steve Cohen, who Billions is supposedly based on, the day, a week before the season's supposed to start, there's an announcement by the mayor at Citi Field that we're making a vaccine mandate exception for athletes and performers in New York. Can easily be tied back to, numerous campaign contributions by billionaire Steve Cohen, which, as I said to you, is such a Billion storyline. Like, this is essentially the entire plot of Billions. Something needs to happen, and the guy who, the character who is based on Steve Cohen, spends a lot of money to, finagle it politically or logistically to get it done in his favor. It's literally the entire show. And Steve Cohen does it again. I mean, the Wilpons would have, I don't know, traded an unvaccinated Jacob deGrom for, a pitcher who was vaccinated, because they're like, well, what are we going to do? We're just going to let him not play.
Well, what's crazy to me, I mean, this is a pretty wild story on so many levels, which I'll also add, no one's talking about. Like, if you look, this conference that he did at Citi Field, that the mayor did, Eric Adams, it's not trending on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to my tweet, which I joked a month ago that Vladimir Putin ended COVID. And I stick by that. Literally no one cares anymore, which that's a whole other discussion. But, how quick we are to change what we care about. But this is nuts, Joe. I mean, it really is nuts to think that he's saying only athletes and performers does this apply to. So if you're a New York City garbage man or anyone else who works for the city, you still have to have the vaccine, because apparently you're not an athlete or a performer. Like, to be honest, it's fucked up.
Right. And, well, I mean, of course it's fucked up. I mean, they're not city workers, obviously. So there's that, like, but there is, because it's these super events or whatever. I mean, obviously the thing that Kyrie Irving's been doing the whole time, these, like, and 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever, is a different story inside at Barclays Center. We're now talking about outside. But I mean, yeah, it is fucked up that essentially this is what we know about every situation like this, which is money talks.
Sure. No, you're right.
Get in there, do it. Everybody, the NBA, the NFL, like we've been talking about all this stuff. And then you get the new single richest owner in baseball that's known for doing literally this exact type of thing for a career, comes in and is like, sprinkle a little green fairy dust, change laws.
Yeah. And that's all it boils down to, like everything in life. Follow the money trail. Money talks. He donated over $1.5 million to a political action committee, which was trying. I mean,
there was even a joke. There was literally a joke made at the press conference. Like Sandy Alderson did a de Blasio joke to open it up, like literally just mocking the last mayor and being like, not like our new mayor, who we love so much, who's here to get his gigantic Happy Gilmore check and leave.
But it is crazy. Again, like if I was a teacher or a firefighter or whatever, I'd be like, dude, this is such bullshit. Like you can't have different rules or laws or mandates, whatever this would be considered, for one person and not for another. I mean, that's bananas. That'd be like saying, hey, certain people don't have to use stop signs and certain people do. Like, it's crazy. And again, it's just flown under the radar. No
Like
one's
police.
talking about it.
Like police don't have to use stop signs
Yeah, exactly.
or obey the speed limit or not drink and drive. It's like that.
Are they all drinking and driving too?
I assume.
Well, regardless,
They keep shooting guys with like hoagies and thinking it was an Uzi. So I'm assuming they're drunk. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt that they were drunk.
I'm not in the know on that one.
Yeah. All these like, he had a Snickers, but we thought it was a gun,
Oh, I thought you were saying somebody thought they were shooting somebody with a hoagie. I was like,
No.
what?
No. Although there was the one person that shot somebody and said, I thought it was my taser.
Hoagies sound good right now. Where's hoagie on your list as an Italian?
In terms of what?
Like, if we're gonna look at like Italian foods, where are you putting hoagies?
I mean, I don't even consider that an Italian food, to be totally honest with you.
No.
I mean, that's there's not a lot of people going. When you're in Italy, you're not like, let me get a meatball hero. Like,
yeah, no. I know that it's an American thing, but I'm saying like an American Italian thing. I don't know where that ranks.
Yeah, no, I don't even consider it. Although, I mean, in terms of like sandwiches, like that's the go-to. That's a very East Coast deli situation, like get yourself an Italian combo or a chicken parm or meatball parm hoagie for sure.
Do you think this new rule or exemption, I should say, will really affect Brooklyn?
Yeah. What you mean in terms of Kyrie playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the season's almost over. You're talking just because obviously playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. I mean, there was talk for a while that like, do we even want to be a top 4 seed? Do we want more away games in a potential 7-game series than home games? Because those are the only ones he can play in. Yeah, I mean, Kyrie is a great player. There's no doubt about that. I think the question of how much does this stuff affect a team overall? I mean, if you look at Brooklyn, look at the standings. I mean, where do they sit right now? They are 8th. So they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden most of the season. James Harden essentially forcing his way out because of the Kyrie situation. I mean, talent-wise, the idea that team is 8th is insane, and I think that is to blame. I think Kyrie Irving should accept or should be, pointed to for the majority of the blame to go around. Like, okay, James Harden's a little bitch. Let's give him 25% of the blame. And Kevin Durant was hurt for a lot of the season. Let's give him 30% of the blame, but 45% of the blame goes on one of your star players that you totally, built your roster and your salary cap implications around signing, couldn't play home games the whole year. And talent-wise, they're up there with, any team in basketball, and they're the 8th seed in the East. So, yeah, I think it definitely helps them to have him play every game. And also, in a sense, like, it could be beneficial that now suddenly you get a fresh Kyrie Irving come playoff time, but it's still, you're still putting yourself behind the 8 ball a little bit. I mean, you're the 8th seed.
Well, let's look ahead. So the 1 seed, obviously there's a plan for the 8 and 9, but the 1 seed right now is Miami, who is also in the news with Jimmy Butler going at Spoelstra and then Udonis Haslem protecting his coach, which begs the question. We have a pattern with Jimmy Butler every team he's gone to. Like, he only lasts so long, it seems.
Right.
Are we going to say this is what's happening now in Miami, or is this just, hey, man, beefs happen, as we know, team fights happen. It's a long season. It's 82 games. Do we think it's one of those, or do we think, oh, shit, Butler's about to go nuclear. like he did in all the other spots he went to.
I think it's one of those. I think it's, a situation where, I mean, who knows what the long-term effects of something like this could be, but I definitely think in the short term, they're just going to get back to, they're the 1 seed. They're going to get back to, focusing on this year, focusing on the championship, whatever. Do I think it really affects them in the short term, meaning the rest of the season? No. Now, Pat Riley and Spoelstra and the Heat organization as a whole always, Pat Riley is, despite how Adrian Brody plays him as like a mop-haired bumbling fool who's sawing through his own legs with the chainsaw, has always seemed to have, a pretty well concocted plan. And, taking a Jimmy Butler on when no one wanted him has worked out. But like, I think Pat Riley is a guy who, since the early 80s has been 2 steps ahead of everybody else. So where does that leave Jimmy Butler with this Heat team in a long-term sense? I don't know. We'll see. But in the short term, I think that they'll, move on from it and just attempt to win a championship.
Yeah. And unrelated, but also kind of related. I've seen a lot more, and I'm sure you have. I've seen a lot more, at least videos online, especially on Twitter, of players chirping at fans off the court.
Yeah.
And also another question I want to ask, and I was thinking of, has this always been prevalent, or just now we have, or is it just now that, sorry, has it always been prevalent and now we have phones that can put this stuff out there instantly to the masses, or are players talking shit more to fans?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that fan saying something and a player saying something back to him has always happened.
Sure.
I mean, we saw the video the other day of Nurkic walking across the court, taking a fan's phone out of his hands and throwing it. I think that the levels that it has gotten to with in terms of how some of these players come back and how far they go is relatively new. And I think that comes from a positive reaction to it and a negative reaction to some of the shit that these fans say that we didn't have on video before, where people are talking about somebody's family or saying really horrible shit. And then being like, and then the players being like, look, we have this on tape. And then kind of the public opinion being like, yeah, man, you can't say that shit to somebody. So I think that I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's always been a little bit of chirping back and forth. And now we're getting to see exactly what's being said on both sides because of the camera. And then I think that these players are feeling just a little bit more in the empowerment era across the board of sports of being like, hey, I know there's video of what this dude just said to me from somebody or somebody who heard it or somebody, whatever. So now I'm going to do whatever the fuck I feel like is appropriate. And I feel like I'll have public opinion on my side.
I like players talking shit. Like more so, I guess I like more so of when a fan's talking trash and then the player goes back, like the Trae Young. Did you see the one with the New York, the L?
Yeah.
Like, I like that in Madison Square Garden. He goes off, he tells the guy to take an L. Like, I like that.
The area it goes too far. Of course, the softest man in the history of sports is like when somebody tells Kevin Durant, a Nets fan tells Kevin Durant to take over a game, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up, bitch." And you're like, bro, he's cheering you on, dude.
What was that all about?
Kevin Durant is just the softest
Why
motherfucker.
would he get mad? If a fan, like you're saying, he's trying to offer positive reinforcement, tells you to take over a game.
Kevin Durant's relationship with fans, social media, followers, whatever, is just like, I mean, I feel like we need to see, like, what was Kevin Durant's childhood like? Where is this coming from? Let's take a deep look at, like,
dude, Kevin Durant is like a psychologist's wet dream.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of hours you could spend dissecting him, psychoanalyzing him.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have in the YouTube comments right now, a not KD Trey 5 saying you're a psychologist's wet dream, Andy. That's very weird. It's strange that somebody would create that username to troll you back.
Wow, instantly. Kevin Durant doesn't mess around. He is quick on the trigger. But I like it. Like I said, but keep it classy. Like I would say to fans, there's a difference between talking trash, telling somebody they suck, or nice brick, to like, I want to fuck your mom. Like, whoa, dude. Like, there's a line there. That's why with a lot of the Russell Westbrook stuff, but obviously nobody wants threats, and his wife said they were getting threats. That's not acceptable. But like, he also was complaining about the
West
Russell
brick,
which I'm like, dude, West brick, that's something you hear on the playground.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting defensive about West brick. That's not derogatory.
Yeah.
That's just
also just make a shot, I guess. I mean, you could be Russell Westbrook, but you don't make any shots anymore.
He's bad, man.
Yeah.
What happened to him? I was watching the game last night. There's a doubleheader last night right on ESPN. You're watching him. What is going on here, man? Breaking shots.
I think what's going on is a number of different things. One, he essentially since Kevin Durant left the Thunder, has moved around teams where he is able to stat pad in a way that makes him look good, but really doesn't do anything in terms of wins and losses. I mean, he won the MVP as an 8 seed. And then being brought into a team where there's a lot of pressure. It's kind of a championship or bust situation. Coming in, not being given the opportunity to do just that in terms of stat pad, have to play within some sort of constraints of a team strategy that is developed to try to win games.
Yeah.
Not performing in that format, and then having your confidence completely shook to the point where you lose some of your mojo.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's you see the decline, and I mean, the truth is he's been in the league. I think we forget because these guys come in so young. It's like he's been in the league for what, 12, 13 years?
Yeah.
Not that he's old, because he's not, but his rookie year was 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
So the point is he's been in the league for a while. Did you see that LeBron dunk on Kevin Love?
Yes.
Dude, that's one of those dunks where I just couldn't stop laughing. Like, I must have watched it 10 times. I just kept laughing every time. That's where Twitter, and especially Black Twitter and NBA Twitter, oh my God, the creativity that people were doing with that was so funny and so brilliant. Like that. See, when you see that stuff, that's what a sport like Major League Baseball is lacking.
Oh, of course. I mean, because you're not allowed to put Major League Baseball clips on Twitter.
Are they still doing that though?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Because I know a couple of the big baseball accounts, like Pitching Ninja and whatever, had to get expressed written consent. Like, they were exceptions to the rule to do it. It's like, Jesus.
That is ridiculous. So you alluded to Winning Time and Pat Riley.
Yeah.
And I think we have to discuss the third episode.
Okay. Because
it's pretty crazy. And also, I like what you said about his portrayal by Adrian Brody. Why do they make him such a doofus? I mean, I don't know if that's sort of like by design, or, I mean, the thing is, like, there's just no way that was the real Pat Riley. Like, Pat Riley always seems like he was like Mr. Slick, you know what I mean? But I'm sure part of this is going to be like when he becomes the Lakers coach and he gets his deal with Armani suits, and he starts slicking back his hair, and he goes the Michael Douglas from Wall Street look. It's going to be like
I'm sure there's going to be like the shot from the floor up where he walks out for the first time in a suit, and it's like, here we go. He's not a doofus anymore. Now he's slick Pat Riley. But you got to imagine that there wasn't really a time where Pat Riley was rocking the fucking, Cocker Spaniel haircut and sawing off his own legs.
Although you got to put it into Google. I did. You got to put into Google Pat Riley pictures from when he played for the Lakers.
Okay.
There's the long hair. There's the one with the full beard. There's the one with the mustache. He really did revolutionize how he looked, like you said.
Yeah.
When suddenly he's rocking the Armani suits and he looks Hollywood, right? Like,
yeah.
He goes, are you looking that up? Like you should look at some pictures, dude. There's a few ones where you're like, they're really not making him look that poorly compared to how he looked.
Yeah. But in terms of his attitude.
Oh, yeah. I assume he was always a winner. Obviously, he was a star at Kentucky, basketball powerhouse, and not like he was a star in the NBA, but look, he was a good guy off the bench, obviously got a chip. But what's crazy about that episode, if you guys are not watching Winning Time, again, I think you should watch it. Episode 3 covers the Lakers trying to get Jerry Tarkanian, the former legendary college coach with UNLV. And basically what happened, and I'm just going to spoiler alert everybody. Tark's agent got whacked by the mob because the mob had some sort of control of Tark in Vegas or his agent or both. And they basically were saying they knew he was going to go to the Lakers as their head coach. And if you do this, you're going to end up in the back of the trunk like your agent. And his agent ended up in the back of a trunk at a Sheraton hotel in LA after Jerry Buss had met with his agent, which is bananas.
Which when I watched it was like, there's no way this actually happened. And then I sent you the tweet of the article saying it actually happened. And like in the article, it's even saying he's last seen with leaving a restaurant with Jerry Buss. He was in talks to become the Lakers coach. This is in the article about him being found. And you're like, geez, wow. This is the real story. This is bananas. The most bananas part of that episode. Do you know who plays Jerry Tarkanian? Did you see the tweet about that?
Was that Michael Chiklis?
No, that's who plays Red Auerbach.
Yeah, sorry, I'm confused.
It was like the stoner from Dazed and Confused. You haven't seen this?
Dude, get out of here. And I love Dazed and Confused. Get out of here. Please send that to me.
I will.
That is what?
Yeah.
The stoner from Dazed and Confused, plays Jerry Tarkanian in this episode.
Yep. I'm sending it to you right now.
So again, episode 2, I was kind of like, wishy-washy on, and I still don't like how they cut to the different, what would you even call it?
Film formats?
The different film formats. Just, I don't like that. But,
I said about this before, it just seems like there's no rhyme or reason to it. If there was a reason for it.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what you just sent me. This is unbelievable. The guy with the long hair. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is unbelievable.
Right?
Are you kidding me? Is this real life? It makes me love this guy as an actor that much more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was also in Argo. I forgot about that. I'm looking underneath the tweet.
I'm pretty sure he was also the guy in Empire Records.
He was also in God, what was that? What was that one movie with the aliens and the pyramids? Not the pyramids, but like ancient Egyptians. God, why am I forgetting the main actor's name in that? It's a big actor. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But this to me is one of the wildest stories that you say, how did this fall under the radar? That Jerry Tarkanian, again, legendary coach, was in deep, which would make sense, right? Late 70s, the mob still has a pretty firm grip on Vegas has not turned so corporate yet, right? It's just like casino where they show the corporatization of Las Vegas. It's still run by the mob.
What's crazy, the craziest part about it is you like, I don't know. So I didn't know that story. I didn't even know the Jerry Tarkanian thing, but I did know about.
I didn't either.
But I did know about the guy who ends up getting the job, but Riley is the one who brings in quote unquote Showtime.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know any of this. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. And so it's like, is that whacking responsible? Like the butterfly effect of that. And then the Lakers dynasty, which the next dude who they show a little bit in this, the guy who's a Portland assistant, he's the guy who comes in. Like, I knew this from just growing up and being a basketball fan. Pat Riley gets the job eventually because like that dude gets in like a bicycle accident or something like that.
Well,
or a car accident or something.
It was a bicycle accident. So there's so many things that happened. And again, I haven't read the book. But I want to, and again, we love to get Jeff Pearlman on this show. What's fascinating is what you're saying is the butterfly effect. They don't get him. They hire the assistant who I believe Portland had just won a title.
Yeah. That's the Bill Walton MVP, Dr. Jack Ramsey.
I'll say Dr. Jack Ramsey.
The greatest basketball season. I mean, I'm just going out there and everybody's like, Bill's the MVP. And I'm like, how about John Lucas? You think players are fighting fans today? One time somebody said, nice socks, Bill. And John Lucas dragged that fan out of the stadium and beat him to within an inch of his life. And I said, John, I'm a pacifist. I'm not here for that, man. And he was like, I got you, Bill. I got you.
So Jack McKinney was the head coach.
Right.
But he only coached 14 games. He got in a serious bicycle accident.
And then is it Paul Westphal takes over for him?
Paul Westhead.
Right.
I know,
not the Suns coach.
I always confuse that too.
Yeah.
So Paul Westhead is the head coach, but he's kind of sharing it with Pat Riley. And then the next year they lose in the playoffs early, and Magic Johnson had an issue with Paul Westhead. So they fire Paul Westhead, and then Pat Riley gets it. So like all these which if the show plays out this way, or if they have enough seasons, it's interesting to see how this all played out. But you are right. And I think that's
the butterfly effect of, like we just talked about, I mean, the Pat Riley Miami Heat right now. I mean, think about the Pat Riley Heat now, the Pat Riley LeBron Big Three Heat, the Pat Riley Shaq Heat, the Pat Riley Knicks, the Pat Riley Showtime Lakers. Maybe none of those happen if Jerry Tarkanian is the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
What do you mean? They don't.
Yeah.
It's not what if. I mean, this is what's crazy to think. If the mob, and we're just,
I mean, does he still come in? You know, is Riley still an assistant and the Lakers aren't that good under Tark, and like, who knows? But one thing's for sure, the Showtime aspect of it never happens.
So McKinney was the Showtime guy, and they say Pat Riley, brought the defense and obviously kept the offensive scheme. It really is wild, though. And what's wild for me, obviously, I have an affinity for Vegas. I lived there for 2 years. It was my first city after college. So like I could eat up all things Vegas. I'm fascinated by the city and how everything came to be. I didn't know any of this. And I didn't know that they were trying to get him to be the head coach. Obviously, I knew he was a legend, but Tarkanian, it's crazy. If you look at him, they were Division II UNLV
at the time.
Like they barely had just turned Division I, I think around like 1970. What's crazy is under Tarkanian, by 76, they're already in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Like, I know he was doing shady stuff, and obviously UNLV became such a thing. And the apparel, I mean, Tupac's wearing UNLV gear in his videos. What's crazy is, like, growing up for me is I didn't like them because I rooted for the good guys, quote unquote good guys. Let's not, I'm not saying that Duke's the good guys in UNLV, but like I rooted for Duke in those games.
It's so funny. I rooted for UNLV.
I was gonna say, but Andy Ruther now would 100%, the 40-year-old me would be rooting for UNLV.
Yeah.
It's nuts though what he did for basketball.
It's so funny because like a 6th grade Joe Prano was just wanted Larry Johnson to hammer dunk on Christian Laettner, and I didn't even know Greg Anthony was going to be a future Pat Riley Nick, but I was like, I just want Greg Anthony to punch Bobby Hurley in the face. I wanted to put on that fucking disco shirt that he's eventually going to wear in Phoenix and jump off a scoring table and just beat the shit out of Bobby Hurley. Tarek chewing on the thing. Mike Krzyzewski over there. I love Duke. I love Duke basketball. I love this community. I love Duke.
So if you go to the Thomas and Mack Center, that's where you see UNLV plays. And I only went to one game. I lived there 2 years, but they do a great job, as you can imagine. Just the homage that they have for those, like the whole, like around the whole arena. It's just like what he brought, and just no team or no coach had brought the things that he had brought: the up tempo, the man-to-man defense, the 1-3-1 press, all these things that Tark brought to the game. And he's a basketball Hall of Famer, and deservingly so. It's just you're right. It's wild to bring it back to the show. If the mob, and we're going to allege, because I'm assuming the mob killed his agent. I mean, the guy was in the back of a car trunk.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. It really made it interesting. And now you're blowing my mind with the guy from Dazed and Confused. I can't get over this. So if you're not watching it at this point, guys, we're obviously talking about it a lot. Tune into HBO.
And is it the best show ever? No, but it's entertaining and it's fun.
Yeah, especially with this stuff. I kind of want to watch Dazed and Confused again now too.
Makes me want to watch Empire Records, which is a classic.
Dude, I don't think I've seen that all the way through.
Empire Records?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
I'd argue for any fans of Rory Cochrane out there, I would argue Empire Records, like, head and shoulders a better movie than Dazed and Confused.
Really?
Yeah. And listen, Dazed and Confused has a, the jumping off for a lot of careers.
He's 50. The guy, Rory Cochrane. What was I talking? Or am I out of my mind? Am I wrong? The movie I thought that I'd seen him in? What the hell was I talking about?
I don't even know what.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, definitely check that out if you want to. But
have you watched The Dropout at all? Since we're doing the on Netflix, or it's on Hulu, the Elizabeth Holmes show.
I'm on episode 5.
Okay, so here's another fun one. I realized this from his voice. Do you know who plays the big Texan fucking VC guy?
Yeah.
You know who that is?
No.
Michael Ironside from Top Gun.
I see it now.
Right? I recognized him from his voice, and I was like, wait, is that Jester?
Fucking Jester. That is him.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Wow. Good show.
Get your butts back below the flight deck.
Definitely really makes me, and hats off to Amanda Seyfried for her acting. It really makes me dislike Elizabeth Holmes.
I don't think you're supposed to like her.
No, but I mean, like, here's my thing, dude. I'm
just surprised at this point my brother John didn't work for that company. I'm surprised he wasn't like the vice president in charge of like.
I mean, but you talk about an awful person. Dude, there's people who make money. There's people who scam people. There's people who rip off people. Fine. Not that that's good either. But when you're doing this, that's going to affect people's health and their blood work and lies. And the sad part is, and I'll just do my little quick rant and we'll move on like I did yesterday to somebody. The sad part is she's not going to serve shit worth of time because she's a rich white woman. I'm just going to call it as it is. But if she was somebody in a rough area who got picked up with some drugs on them, she's serving 5 years. And therein lies.
Woke Andy's out.
But it's true. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, she's not going to serve time. She's an awful person. She's an awful person. And exactly, that's the problem with the whole system. But it's a good show. Now, do I get a little worked up? Yeah. I'm going to have to watch the documentary on HBO. Anyway, we got lots to cover. Lots of good sports stuff to cover. I think, you know what I think, Joe? I think I need to relax.
Let me just say this. I'm just impressed you've made it this far into the show without talking NFL. Like this is you're showing some real growth here, Andy.
Hey man, I'm trying. And we can get to the NFL.
I'm just surprised you weren't like, welcome to the Dirty Sport. Tyreek Hill got traded.
Look, again, the NFL is number one for me, but look, I love sports. You know, let's talk them all.
I love sports. I love sports. I love this whole sports community. I love sports.
Yeah. I mean, look, we can, it's my release. It's a nice way to decompress. And you know what else is a great way to decompress is having a nice cold Miller Lite with some friends.
Absolutely, Andy. It's spring has sprung, and it's time. It's time for we're getting back. Majority of the country is getting back to the best time of year. The flowers are blooming.
Oh yeah,
the sun's coming out, and just you can sit back on your back patio or your back porch, your back deck, look out over the greening backyard, and just like enjoy life with a Miller Lite.
Funny you say that because it is. If you know where I'm at, everything's starting to bloom, getting a lot of rain. I need to cut the grass. I am having a couple buddies come over.
You know what they say? April showers bring happy hours with Miller Lite.
Wow, this guy's a professional over here. That was very well done, sir. Very well done. Yeah, I got a couple buddies coming over tomorrow. Watch some hoops, drink some Miller Lites. You really can't beat it, guys. So get on that right now, because since 1975, Miller Lite has been the beer with taste you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just a great beer for people who like beer. People like you and your friends. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. And a quick shout out to all the DirtBalls. In particular, I'm going to give some love in particular to CT, who always sends us great tweets when he's drinking a refreshing Miller Lite, a lot of times on the golf course. So if you are enjoying a cold one this weekend while you're watching games or out on the golf course, on the back patio, fire pit, send us a picture, tag at Miller Lite, tag at the Dirty Sports.
People love to tag us and then say like the greatest beer in the world. It's like, go ahead and tag those good folks at Miller Lite. Or say that they're in the picture, tag them in the picture, whatever it is that you're going to do. I'll tell you what, Andy, in a few weeks from now, I'll be in the heart of an area in Colorado that is it's sort of a battleground state for the good folks at Miller Lite. A lot of people there drink a beer that shall not be named on this show, but no, like a crusader bringing Christianity across the world. I will be traveling with Miller Lites. I will be bringing Miller Lites with me to change the course of history in Colorado. I'll be there doing shows at the Bridge Street Bar in Vail on April 14th. Before that, I'll be in Steamboat, and after that, I'll be in Denver. But get your tickets now available if you're in the Vail area for the Vail Comedy Show at the Bridge Street Bar, where I will be changing hearts and minds through the gift of laughter and the gift of Miller Lite.
Plug within a plug, guys.
A plug within a plug.
That's 817 episodes.
We have to go deeper.
Yeah. When you can do a plug within a plug, that means you've been doing this for a minute. That's experience. That's LeBron James year 19. That's basically what that is. Well done. Well done, Joe. We actually had a call about winning time. Should I play it?
Sure.
My apologies.
Why not?
I forgot to play it. This is a call about winning time, and then we'll get to some other stuff.
Hey boys, I'm just watching the third episode of Winning Time here on HBO Max, and I know you mentioned that Tug Coker should play Pat Riley, or just some character in the show, and it's no coincidence that Pat Riley ends up being kind of a main character in the third episode. So now all I can think of is Tug Coker in that role. Would have been cool to see it. Let me know what you think. Stay dirty, boys.
I think we said he should be Larry Bird since he already played him, right?
Well, Alexa, stop. Yeah, I mean, we said Larry Bird, but also, he had, I think Tug had high hopes of being Larry Bird, because he played Larry Bird on Broadway. But I think that ship sailed pretty quickly in the casting notices. And what I said was, because obviously throughout the course of this Lakers dynasty, this Lakers Showtime run, it is a lot of back and forth with that Celtics team. I said we should pick a brown-haired, floppy-haired Celtic that Tug could appear as. I said Rick Carlisle. I
like that.
On like a mid-'80s Celtics team.
And I think we referenced the time that Bill Walton was looking at Rick for some help. That game that Jordan went off with 60 plus points.
Yeah. God damn it, Rick. You've got me switching and picking rolls. This guy's a goddamn alien. He hangs in the air like there's no gravitational pull on this earth, which I think we all know good goddamn well there is, Rick. Stop leaving me on the wing with Michael Air Jordan.
Well, Joe, I lasted. Are you proud of me? I lasted a long time. I lasted almost 50 minutes before we got
I know
to the
you're
NFL.
shaking. Give me my fix.
This is nonstop, man. This
It really is nonstop this offseason. This is a wild offseason. I saw a tweet about just like all the moves in one offseason, from the quarterback movements to the receiver movements to whatever. It's just been the retiring and unretiring of Tom Brady. It got to be, I would say without a doubt, a runaway winner for the craziest offseason in NFL history, right?
Yeah, and the NBA has kind of taken the crown for craziest off seasons, at least in my opinion, in recent memory. But to me, this is on that level of just player switching teams, like you said, guys signing, especially the AFC. I've seen multiple tweets about that. This is what's happened in the AFC, whether guys have gone to different teams in the AFC or they've gone to the AFC. And the biggest move yesterday was Tyreek Hill being traded from the Chiefs to the Dolphins So the Dolphins give up a first-round pick, which is number 29, a second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick, as well as a fourth and sixth-round pick in 2023. And, this is a big deal because that's obviously his deep threat.
He's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Has been the last few years. Electric speed. Even, a lot of the talk from Chiefs players, former Chiefs players, Chiefs beat writers, people who are in the know in the NFL are like Tyreek Hill's effect on the Chiefs is more than even his stats show. That obviously he just opens up the field. I mean, his ability to stretch the field opens up things for, Kelsey and all the dump offs in the middle and the shorter middle stuff. So, yeah, no doubt about it. It's insane that a guy who has had that productivity on a team that has been that successful the last few years gets traded. Honestly, it's insane what they got for him, because the rumor at first was 2 first-round picks and then that the Jets were in the mix, but the Jets were unwilling to give up, which I believe was their 4th and 10th overall selection. But they ended up not even getting a first-round pick as high as either of those. Then I think there was talk that the Chiefs had essentially accepted both offers, and they gave Tyreek Hill the option to pick where he wanted to go, and he picked Miami because obviously. But
basically what happened was they were negotiating a long-term deal, and then the Davante Adams trade and signing happened. So the Chiefs didn't want to pay him more than that. He wanted to be the highest paid receiver, more than what Davante Adams was making, and they didn't want to do that. So obviously they have to look at the financials, and we have a couple calls about this because that's where it kind of gets dicey, because I don't understand it now with cap space and stuff against your cap. And we've talked about it, how they find ways to finagle and move money around. But let's play some calls, which I think are going to spur some interesting conversations as far as how we view the receiver at this point, or our top receiver in the NFL.
What's up, guys? This is Corbin from Colorado. I'm out here on a walk with my dog, so I apologize if it's super windy. But I'm a Chiefs fan, so obviously calling in about that Tyreek Hill trade.
But by the way, real quick, have I just instilled fear in DirtBall still?
Yeah, pretty much.
They apologize because, like, man, Ruther's just going to be all angry. Like, guys, I definitely had some issues. No one's going to deny that. But to be fair, that was, I think everything changed like 2017 on. So like we're year 5 of this. Like, I'm not going to go nuts.
We are in a post Float Lab Ruther world.
It's true though. It's true. We're in a post Float Lab world, which it's mostly a Float Lab and cannabis world. So let's, those have calmed me down a lot. Anyway, let's proceed.
That kind of happened out of nowhere yesterday, and it's crazy. I want to say that it's because of Patrick Mahomes, and it's because we have to pay him this amount of money, and so we have to cut these guys, just like everyone has been thinking since Mahomes signed this huge contract. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily what it is. To me, it sounded like the Chiefs offered Tyreek Hill a substantial amount of money, and he almost declined it. Of course, who knows what actually happened, but that's kind of what I've been hearing. And another thing, which I saw on Twitter, was both Green Bay and the Chiefs now cut their wide receiver 1 because they didn't want to pay them that money. And I think it's true. Paying wide receivers nowadays isn't a part of the plan. How many of these guys are getting 20+ million? I mean, now we've got a few. The past 10 years, none of these guys have been making that much. And I think it's a little bit outlandish that wide receivers are making this much amount of money in the league. But I don't know. I'm kind of mad because the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill, but I think that the Chiefs are going to be just fine. And I doubt that Tyreek Hill has as much production in Miami as he did in Kansas City. Sorry for being long-winded. Stay dirty.
So here's something to consider. Your Super Bowl champ Rams, the highest paid guy is Cooper Kupp, and he's around like 15 million. Now, obviously,
and by the way, that is as of this coming season. Cooper Kupp last season got like it was the first of a 3-year extension, but they guarantee his first year. It's a fully signing bonus. I think he was on the books last year. I had it here yesterday somewhere. I think he was on the books last year for like $5 million.
Yeah. So my point is, you had Cooper Kupp, you had Robert Woods. I don't know what he was making. Obviously, Odell.
And by the way, and again, Cooper Kupp, that's another. So then it's 15 and 15 the next 2 years. We're not talking about an 8-year, $160 million. We're talking about a 3-year. I think Cooper Kupp's was a 3-year, $47 million deal with a signing bonus that put him at $5 million cap hit year one, where they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I think these guys, I agree. I agree with what teams are doing. And I've said the same thing about running backs. I think these skill players are so good. I wouldn't pay them. I wouldn't. I wouldn't give them.
So here's the situation with wide receivers, in my opinion. I think it's different than the thing with running backs. And I actually think Cooper Kupp is a great example of a guy who we can all look at Cooper Kupp's season last year. But Cooper Kupp was great when Jared Goff was there, but he didn't have the biggest wide receiver season in history when Jared Goff was there.
Exactly.
There was a year or two where Cooper Kupp wasn't their number one receiver with Jared Goff there. The difference between running backs and receivers to me are people got to the point where they're like, it's not worth it to pay a running back. Okay. Now that swung back a little bit. The Gurley deal obviously didn't work out injury wise, but like Kamara is working out. Okay. Some of the other big McCaffrey, obviously injury problems, but here's, I think, the difference between the wide receivers. And this goes back to what I said about the Devontae Adams thing. If you have an elite quarterback, I don't think you should pay a wide receiver elite money.
100% agree.
I think if you have an elite quarterback, part of what comes with having an elite quarterback is he will make Julian Edelman somebody who retires and people go, is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? If you have an elite quarterback, it should take undrafted UMass free agents and have them salsa dancing in Campbell's soup commercials. That's what elite quarterbacks should do with your wide receiver core. That is why I think if you're Aaron Rodgers, now Devontae Adams might be your security blanket and he might be your guy. And maybe Aaron Rodgers has a difference of opinion the same way LeBron James thinks that fucking Carmelo Anthony should be on his team. But from a GM standpoint, if we have to spend all the money that we need to keep our elite quarterback, find Cooper Kupps and Julian Edelman's and Victor Cruz's to become superstars with those elite quarterbacks, which obviously Patrick Mahomes is. Simultaneously, Patrick Mahomes is partially built from Tyreek Hill.
Correct.
Having Tyreek Hill there for the early stages of development of Patrick Mahomes is great. But I think now when you get Patrick Mahomes the confidence and you get Patrick Mahomes the experience and you get Patrick Mahomes the MVP, they haven't won a Super Bowl the last couple of years. And no one's saying it's because their offense isn't explosive enough. There's a lot of other factors, especially in the Tampa Super Bowl in terms of offensive line, in terms of defense, in terms of whatever. And so if you're going to spend all this money, let your quarterback deal with let your elite, and elite is, we're talking, the top 5 guys in the league at any given moment. Let that guy make your offense explosive. Let him do what Peyton Manning did for, a fucking Brandon Stokely or a Dallas Clark or whoever. Think of all the guys through all the years. I mean, look at the Steelers wide receivers with a Big Ben. It was every year, this is our guy. Well, and then they let that guy go, and the next guy is the guy again. They let Mike Williams go, or whoever the fuck the dude was back in the day. And then Antonio Brown comes, and then this guy comes, and then Claypool, and then Schuster. And then they're always like, the next guy is always the guy. Get an elite talent in the draft that you don't have to pay and do it. Conversely, I think that there are teams, when you have a question mark at quarterback, surround that guy with elite playmakers and see what you have, which is precisely now what's going to happen in Miami.
Sure.
Tua has all the weapons.
All.
Bro, if you finish behind the Bills and you finish behind the Patriots, you're not the guy.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, look, guys, this is the year for Tua. And any Dolphins fans out there, you got Waddle, you got Hill, you got running backs, you got an O-line.
You got a tight end.
I mean, they are set up now, and they, you signed the number 1 O-lineman in free agency, Armstead. They now have basically the same defense, and they've now stacked the offense. So if Tua is benched for Teddy Bridgewater week 8, he ain't the guy. And I still think he ain't the guy before even this season. But we'll see. And you're right.
But I think that that's what elite receivers should be in the NFL is like, honestly, I think quarterbacks, how much is Patrick Holmes responsible for Tyreek Hill and vice versa? I mean, Tyreek Hill is a great player. There's no doubt about that. But is the Chiefs' problem, even without Tyreek Hill, people are worried they're not going to score enough points?
Some people are, but I think exactly. He's that good. He makes receivers great. Now, Tyreek Hill is great, but like I just said, you look at the Rams who won the Super Bowl. You look at who they played in the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase, rookie deal. Higgins, rookie deal. Boyd, not being overpaid. It's the same situation where you have a great quarterback.
But when you look at the AFC West becoming what the AFC West is becoming, you look at a Denver Broncos team that has essentially been built around defense forever, and now adds Russell Wilson to shore up the quarterback position. You look at the Raiders, who are going all in with on the defensive side of the ball, and also they're trying to load up everywhere they can. They go Devontae Adams, and they're making defensive signings. The Chargers that are making defensive signings because they have the elite quarterback in place and now know we have to stop somebody. There is balance in the AFC West. And I think that probably prior to a Tyreek Hill leaving, the Chiefs are probably the least balanced team, or at least making the least balanced moves of the offseason. And now it frees up money for you to get more balanced.
Yeah, I agree. I actually totally agree that they were the least balanced.
You have Mahomes. I know that they have the salary cap. Everybody doing the salary cap magic, but the part of the salary cap magic with Mahomes was he wasn't going to get paid out of the gate, and it balloons down the line. You have Kelsey getting a ton of money. You have Hill getting a ton of money. Like, if those 3 guys alone are 60% of your cap 2 years from now, where does that leave you?
Yeah.
You have 2 years to win a Super Bowl before you finish behind the Chargers every year.
Well, let me just go over the odds real quick. Let me just, again, obviously these are just the odds. This doesn't mean anything on paper, as we saw last year how Cincinnati performed. But these are the odds right now on FanDuel. at this very moment to win the AFC Championship. Bills plus 350, Chiefs plus 500, Chargers, Broncos plus 850, Browns plus 1,000, Ravens plus 1,100, Bengals plus 1,200, Colts plus 1,300.
Sorry, can you start from the top again? I just want the first couple.
Yeah. It goes Bills,
yeah,
Chiefs, and Chargers and Broncos are tied. That's to win the conference. So those are your top four, again, according to the odds right now.
Yeah.
And then when you go in Super Bowl, it's crazy because the Chargers, like these signings, everyone's saying right now, the Chargers are literally right there with the Chiefs. And they've split the last 4 games with the Chiefs before these signings. You know what I'm saying? So like they've gone head to head with them the last 4 contests, the last 2 regular seasons. The Chargers are right there. It is interesting they're giving the Bengals no love, which I find fascinating.
I think I saw that the Browns jumped the Bengals in some books.
They've jumped them in all the books. The Bengals right now on FanDuel are listed as the 7th odds-on favorite to win the conference. So, again, you take it for what it's worth. They were over under was 6.5 wins last year. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl. So that is what it is. But you are right. Like I don't know. I was reading a lot of stuff on this and saying, "Wow, man, this is really going to affect them." And the AFC West is getting so tough, and they're just going to have to do long drives. And they did do that last year in the second half. They're not going to be able to quick hit you with a 3-play, 82-yard drive touchdown. They're just going to have to do sustained long drives. They're going to have to run the ball more.
But also at the same time, I just think that like the Chiefs are always going to have that ability with Mahomes and, that who's the next guy, like it's just next man up. Like I think he is one of those quarterbacks, and I think Rodgers is too, where it's like you don't need this because he can turn some other guy that you've never heard of who has elite speed into that guy. Now Tyreek Hill is special, no doubt about it, but you replace him for 1/10 of the money and get 2/3 of the production.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's a call about the financials of it.
Good morning, fellas. This is Jew. Just wanted to call to see about the Tyreek Hill trade, and it came down to 2 teams, the Jets and the Dolphins. And apparently the Jets may have had a little bit better of an offer with the draft picks and stuff and the contract, but he chose Miami. So one of the things that doesn't really get talked about, especially with the NFL where it's a hard cap, is these teams that are in either Florida or Texas compared to teams that are in New York or, New York, New Jersey, or California, where the state tax is insane. I think for New Jersey, which the Jets and Giants, their tax in New Jersey, it's 13% versus Florida, it's 0. So do you think the NFL should, so they used to do this in, I think it was hockey for Canada teams, where even though it's a cap, they can pay a little bit more because of the tax. So should New York and New Jersey and California be able to have a higher cap for their teams to be able to, get pretty much offer an equal amount that would go into the pocket of the players? Because the Dolphins are literally giving him a better offer, and the Jets just can't do it with it being the hard cap because of the tax. Let me know. Thanks. Later.
Look, I don't know about that, but I would argue for the players it matters, right? If somebody's getting $100 million,
but I mean, I think that's what he's saying is like if the players can choose, if the players are making that decision based on the money that they're making, shouldn't the team itself get a little bit more spending? And to which I would say there's the math of that, or like the idea behind that is a good one, and especially now. The way that it's now sort of sports is so global, and social media connects everything. I mean, you go on to watch football on Sunday, and the commercials are the quarterback in Kansas City, the quarterback in Green Bay, and the quarterback in Cleveland who have all the fucking ads. I mean, there was a time where it was like being the quarterback in LA, Chicago, or New York was worth that much more value than anything. You know what I mean? Or being a star player in one of those cities. And now that's not the thing that you offer. Hey, come to New York. We'll make up that money in advertisements. It's like, you won't, dude. Like LeBron James was the biggest name in sports. He was in Cleveland. So yeah, like I actually do think, you got to get creative with that, but there should be but because here's the thing, you're going for competitive balance. That's the whole idea of a salary cap, but you don't have it.
Yeah. I don't know the solution to that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I think there's got to be a way to think about it.
I will say, as someone who lived in Nevada where there's no state income tax, and I was a school teacher one year, and then I worked at Caesar's Palace. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even on that low salary as a high school English teacher, when there's no state income tax, and you're getting your checks, you're like, holy shit, you remove that. It ends up being thousands of dollars, even at a small level. So I think for sure players consider that. But also, like you pointed out earlier in the show, I'm sure playing for the Jets versus Miami and living in Miami.
I mean, living in New York City, which you would live if you played for the Jets, is great, but but it's the Jets.
Yeah.
It's the Jets, dude.
Plus,
how many careers, I'm sure Tyreek Hill is just like, oh, I want to go be Le'Veon Bell, guy who also didn't want to play for the Max and then disappeared from play. Like if you're Tyreek Hill, the question that your agent should be asking you when you're deciding between those two teams is, hey, Tyreek, I know you're, is Le'Veon Bell alive or dead? Yeah. Because he was on your team after he was on the, like, can you say for sure whether Le'Veon Bell is alive or dead? He's like, you know what? I can't. And he's like, that's right. Because he played for the New York Jets for a season. And now no one knows whether he's alive or dead.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake.
Sure. It's a good point. Plus, weather. Strip clubs are way better in Miami. Look, I don't know anything about Tyreek Hill. I mean, I know some things. I know that there's the whole, case with him, abusing was his son or daughter that was like 3 or younger. I know that much. Yeah. But I'm just going to assume he likes strip clubs. Is that me stereotyping? I don't know. He's an NFL player. Strip clubs are better in Miami. I don't know if that came down to it. By the way, his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. No surprise there. I think that's his agent. Another big signing, which we have to mention on Dirty Sports. He's always been one of our favorites. The Saints are bringing back Jameis Winston. 2 years, $28 million, $21 million guaranteed.
It's amazing.
Dude, I almost sent this to you. Our friend Jameis 1 of 1. Dude, the cherry picking that he does is he compared, dude, you're going to love this. He compared Stafford. Dude, the way this guy does this is absolutely mind-boggling. Where's the tweet? He basically was trying to cherry pick Jameis Winston's stats from a very shortened season against Matthew Stafford's and basically saying that the guy who got hurt and played 7 games had a better season than the guy who won the Super Bowl. That's what he was trying to do.
I got to say, listen, the Jameis Winston situation in terms of like the money he got, the team he continues to play for, it's just like, I am happy about it because at this point, if Jameis just like wastes away, like, I don't think it proves our point enough. And like, I think with Jameis Winston, we were talking about the Deshaun Watson situation, a week ago and where he's going to end up. Like Falcons, Saints, all the potential teams he could go for. And we loved Watson to the Saints.
Yeah.
Winston to the Saints. Like, I don't think that the Saints can win a Super Bowl. Just like straight up, like
they won't.
Can't
They
do
won't.
it.
And I'm not, that doesn't say that they might not make the playoffs or he can't perform, because he played well in those 7 games, but
he played well, like he played fine.
I totally, no, I'm
like,
agreeing with you.
But he also played like a guy. He played like a rookie. They had him fucking handcuffed because he can't be trusted not to throw 30 picks in a year. I think he threw for like 160 yards a game.
Dude, I got to read this tweet. This is wild. So our friend Jameis 1 of 1 quote tweets Ian Rappaport on the extension that Matthew Stafford got. He quote tweets it by writing, Saints were not in Matthew Stafford trade in 21 to my last year, right? As they believed Jameis Winston was the same QB, but with more upside, as reported. And then he lists the 2021 total QBR. Jameis was number 4 in the NFL. Stafford was number 5. And then the 2021 EPA per play, Jameis was number 2. Stafford was number 6. And he hashtags it White Jameis, Black Stafford. Dude, I'll be honest, I see these things, and there are times where I want to punch this guy in the face and be like, dude, are you really listing stats of a guy who won a Super Bowl versus a guy who played 7 games side by side? Like, zero context. Zero. They will never win a Super Bowl. They haven't even won a playoff game with Jameis Winston. And you're right. They treated him like he was on training wheels when you're trying to teach somebody how to learn how to ride a bike. I don't know why. It's just like, because people see that and they're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then the people try to turn it like he's trying to make it a race thing. Dude, get out of here. It's not a race thing.
And the Saints didn't want to, like, what are you talking about? The Saints gave Jameis Winston a $2 million fucking show me deal. And the Rams traded 1st round draft picks to get Matthew Stafford. This isn't even in the same, like, you don't think that if the Saints could have gotten Matthew Stafford for $2 million on a 1-year deal, they wouldn't have done it. Like, these aren't even comparable. One guy was a team's franchise quarterback that a team had to trade tons of draft picks to get their hands on. If the Rams had wanted Jameis Winston, they could have just fucking signed him.
100%. Do the Saints make the playoffs next year?
I mean, that division, so fucking,
much easier conference.
Yeah.
Bucks are winning that division.
Yeah, but I don't even know. I'm gonna say no just on Jameis alone.
I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy.
But also, what are the Saints doing? Like, you just got him on a show me deal and he played 7 games. And now you're giving him $14 million a year?
21 guaranteed. Yeah, I agree.
Like, you have a terrible GM if that's like, oh, he wasn't going to sign with us unless we gave him that much. Good.
and obviously he ain't your guy if you wait around. Like, all the cards have fallen now.
Yeah.
The only QBs left was him, Baker Mayfield, and Jimmy G. Like, these are the only guys who, like, quote unquote starters left. They let everything play out. That's how little faith they had in Jameis Winston. They went for Deshaun Watson. They let it all play out. By the way, I will miss Baker Mayfield's Cleveland commercials. I just want us to get that out there. That's going to be the biggest L of this whole situation with Baker Mayfield leaving. The commercials with him at Cleveland Stadium and Progressive were really well done. I've been a fan, as you know. Where does he go?
The rug pulled out from Baker Mayfield. He goes from being the starter in Cleveland to having all these commercials. And now it's like, well, we can't give commercials. We can't have a guy doing commercials. Like, I mean, is he now just the guy who cleans Progressive Field? Like, is he like, he doesn't, like, he's not a Brown anymore? Like, he's just Now
you
he's just the janitor.
Did you see the one meme? You know when he's doing the garage sale, like the yard sale? I mean, the one meme's like, this is actually real now. He's doing a yard sale. Like he's leaving. I mean, I thought that, the Colts were going to be the likely fit, and the fact that they didn't get him. Do the Seahawks go to Baker Mayfield?
Like, why would you do that? Why, if you're doing some sort of fast rebuild, is that your plan?
No, that wouldn't make sense.
I mean,
yeah.
And but the thing is, if people thought Baker Mayfield was like a fit for, like, he would already be snatched up.
I know. Well, what about Jimmy G?
For me, I think Jimmy G is a better fit for the Saints than fucking Jameis Winston.
I totally agree. Like, what are the Niners going to do with him?
I don't know. Trade him to the Bucks for Tom Brady. I still have not ruled out Brady to the Niners.
You're out of your mind.
I have not ruled that out.
That would be like the
cherry on this fucking offseason Sunday.
It would be. Brady goes to the Niners. No way the Bucks would do that. Just no way. All right, we got some calls. 310-359-8365. Drop us a question, comment, conspiracy. I like this next. We're going to start with a non-sports one. I love this analogy. So last episode, you and I were discussing how we think the Let's Go Brandon thing is arguably one of the lamest things ever. That's just not funny. It's hack.
It's not even hack. I think it's offensive to hacks. Hack is like, when something hack, it's like typical. It's like overplayed. It's like whatever. It's like, I don't even think it's hack.
Which is not funny.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, I you know the origin of it, right?
Yeah, I know the origin of it. But I'm saying at least something that's hack makes sense. It's like makes all the sense. That it's so sensible that it's just beaten. It's like anybody can come up with it.
Well, I think this is the best analogy. I'm going to play this. I think you're going to love this. This is where we are probably going to agree, and I think most listeners, on comparing that to this.
Yo, what's going on, Dirty Sports? Listening to the last episode, particularly the Let's Go Brandon bit. Is Let's Go Brandon the new Dilly Dilly? The first time I heard Let's Go Brandon, I kind of chuckled for like half a second. But now it's just like, hasn't it been like over a year and a half, maybe even more? Like, let it die. Let's Go Brandon is the new Dilly Dilly, and condoms are for anyone who still thinks it's funny. Peace.
So real quick, I looked it up. The origin, it happened at that, was it NASCAR
driver? Yeah.
It was like October 3rd, 2021. So it's actually not as nearly as long as we thought.
Yeah. It just feels like it, just like Dilly Dilly.
Don't you love that? Like, isn't that a spot on?
Here's why I think it's spot on, because of the people who enjoy it. They're the same people.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, you're at the bar and the guy who's like Dilly Dilly, you're like, yeah. I can't say I'm surprised that you, sir, are really into screaming Dilly Dilly at the bar.
Well,
I am not surprised to see that coming from you, sir. Guy in cargo shorts.
Whoa. Take it easy in the cargo shorts. I used to rep those with pride. You made the point last episode, and I agree, of, okay, dude, you got a problem with the president? Be a man. Just have a flag that says "fuck Joe Biden." Like you're a pussy. So like there's one a few neighborhoods away from me, and it's in a nice neighborhood. And I purposely, and it's probably not to be smart. This is where like people was like, dude, you're an idiot. I purposely always run by the house hoping somebody's out when I go for if I run in that area, because I want to say something to them. And I
But
just
we're also this like, see, that's the thing. It's like, it's the flip side. Like the flip side was just, I mean, it wasn't as lame as Let's Go Brandon, but like, dude, if you had a fuck Trump flag outside your house, you're also a dork.
No, I agree. But I want to ask that person exactly what you're saying. You know, and obviously I'd be kind of a dick. I'd be like, why don't you just have a fuck Joe Biden thing, dude? Why don't you just go balls out in your nice little suburban neighborhood? Just do it.
And he'd be like, nice Miller Lite sweatshirt, but over here we're team Dilly Dilly.
Now, I go to the country once a week for some volunteer work. And there's the difference, Joe. They literally, some people out there, like straight up country, have flags that straight up say, fuck Joe Biden. Which again, that's a whole other, like, blows my mind. Like, you're so angry at this old man, like, who's literally not doing anything. Like, everyone else is doing it. That's a whole other, anyway. But like, to me, that's the difference. Oh, dude, you won't do it in your little suburban neighborhood. You won't put that. You won't put the F-bomb on a flag.
But it's not even, I don't even think it's that as much. They think it's hilarious. They think it's hilarious. They're screaming dilly dilly at the bar. They think it's hilarious. And every person with a college degree around them is rolling their eyes. Really, bro? Dilly dilly.
I actually disagree there. I think there's a fair amount of college degree men out there who thinks it's funny, who think it's so funny. I do. I think there's idiots. Just like I thought there was college degree people who thought dilly dilly was funny. But I think that's the best comparison.
It's great. Good call.
Yeah, I think it was too. Okay. Jerry Jones conspiracy. What is this? Let's play it.
What's up, fellas? Justin here, Kansas DirtBall. Just called him probably about 5 minutes ago, but I was like standing in a closet while my son was sleeping, so I was trying not to wake him up. So I'm going to redo this, and hopefully it works out a little bit better.
Another fear-based Ruther call.
Tell me what you think. Is this a...
I got to pause it. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I called a few minutes ago, but my service wasn't good because I was calling from a bomb shelter because I didn't want there to be outside noise because Andy Ruther gets really mad at us. And then I realized that the underground concrete walled bomb shelter, while making good audio, didn't have great Wi-Fi connection. So now I'm calling back from a closet. And that had a bit of an echo. So now I've actually put my son in the closet and I'm calling from the main room. So I'll make this quick so that I can release my son from his jail cell so that Andy Ruther doesn't yell at me.
How far are we from Dirtballs running professional state-of-the-art studios to leave their calls and to have someone with a clock that's timing it for 60 seconds and under? Guys, again, I don't think, like, I used to be a dick.
Yeah.
But like
soon we're gonna have phone calls that run exactly 60 seconds to start with, like, in a world where Andy Ruther lets me talk for 1 full minute, I have a question. Is dilly dilly?
I love the disclaimers.
A dirty sports conspiracy theory that might hold some true weight. Jerry Jones, with his baby mama drama with the girl that he impregnated at the airline's ticket counter, is she the sole reason he does not fly anymore and thus has the Jerry bus to drive around in? Was he just such a debacle of a human being that he could not keep it in his pants anytime he found an average woman at a ticket counter like Tiger Woods and a Denny's waitress? I don't know, boys. Let me know what you think. Stay dirty.
For the record, it was a Perkins waitress. I know my Tiger Woods stuff. He does fly. So
yeah, I was gonna say he
debunked.
does. He still has the bus, but he does fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's not like how John Madden didn't fly. He flies. He just has his sex bus.
He just flies private now so that he doesn't have to deal with ticket workers.
Yeah. So sorry. Had to debunk that. I mean, I like it. Look, I'm one to always entertain a conspiracy theory, but never call here again. And literally, and give your child up because you're not fit to be a parent. Unbelievable. All right, let's get through a few more. What else we got here? Is this on the rundown? Hold on. Did I not make it a favorite? So many calls. All right.
What's going on, boys? Kyle Aronofsky calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. Just wondering, what is your favorite non-major four sports in North America to watch and attend?
Oh, we already played this. Jesus.
I was going to say, am I losing my mind?
No, I'm losing my mind. I forgot to cross that off. We already discussed this last episode. So you guys can call in and yell at me for playing a repeat call. I mean, that's pretty meta right there, right?
Yeah.
They're scared of me. I'm the one completely fucking up. Okay. Here's a bit here. You know what? We just got a couple more. Let's just get through these.
Hey guys, Eric from Colorado again. Just want to start off by saying Ichiro to the Hall of Fame 5 times over, definitely. My question today is the Rockies just signed Chris Bryant to, 6-7 years, whatever. And they're like not going to compete, but like as somebody who's going to get to watch those games, that's just, they're putting something fun together. So my question is, they're putting some fun players together. They kind of just changed ownership last year. Are the Rockies the anti-Reds? Hope I can make it out to. I think I'm gonna come to the improv show. I'll see you out here, Prano. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Stay dirty.
Love it.
So are the Rockies the anti-Reds? Well, at this point, I don't know what's going on with the Reds. They just signed Tommy Pham.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
It's lit, fam.
But that's literally what Winker was making.
Right.
Dude, no one has a clue what the Reds are doing. Now, the Rockies, like you're saying, that'll be a fun player to watch, especially in that stadium. I don't know.
I mean, I just the thing about the Rockies being the anti is like, again, they let the guys go. So here's why I don't think the Rockies are the anti. The Reds are like just not spending money. The Rockies don't seem to be knowing how they're spending their money. Like it just seems so reckless. And so like there is the Reds have a plan, and maybe the Rockies are the anti-Reds in that they have no plan whatsoever.
Did you see the Reds manager's quote on it? It's one of the funniest quotes I've ever seen as far as what they've done in the offseason. David Bell, this is a verbatim word for word quote. We're getting better in a really weird way.
Yeah, that's weird.
Bro, what are you talking about? We're getting better in a really weird way?
Yeah.
No. You're getting worse.
Yeah.
Okay, one last call. Let's just get through all of them, right? Is that cool?
Yeah.
No?
I kind of gotta go just randomly.
We'll save it. We'll
okay.
save it then. We'll save it. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. Give us a ring. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can drop an Apple or Spotify review. DM me, leave your Twitter, Instagram handle. I'll send you some koozies.
At Joe Prano on all social media, except for Twitter, where I'm at Fix Your Life. Follow me. I've been putting up stand-up clips. And if you want to come see a show, go to joeprano.com, joeprano.com/shows. Most notably, I'll be back up in the San Luis Obispo area next weekend for some shows. And I will be in Colorado, 8th, 9th in Steamboat Springs. Then in Vail on the 14th, go to Vail Comedy Show and get tickets for that. Me co-headlining with Eddie Ift, and then Denver Improv the 15th, 16th, and then New York, New Jersey, Connecticut areas at the end of April. Keep your eye on joeprano.com for those.
Let's go, Prano.
Yeah. Let's go, Prano. which really means drink Miller Lite.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, that's our show. As always, we really appreciate the support. You guys have a great weekend. And don't forget,